Hello YouTube vintage radio collectors. This here is a Zenith Transoceanic 600 series 6A40 chassis. This is a true American classic, but this is a Canadian one. And this one is actually sourced just close to where I live in Waterloo region. And I wasn't actually even looking for one of these. I've had quite a few. I think I've had one or two of every version of the Transoceanic ever built. This is the last of them. It has a date stamp of February 20th, 1960 inside of it. So this is really near the end of production because the world was going solid state. There was already the Zenith 1000 Transoceanic, which was solid state. But they had kind of perfected this version, and it does work very well. And this is one of these ones. It was all original inside. All original parts, had never been serviced. Looks like it had never broken down. It worked. There was sound. It just did not sound good. There was, using the AC core, there was 60 hertz ripple coming through, so the filter capacitors weren't in great shape. There's a lot of static on the controls and on the selector, which is understandable. But the cosmetics of it, this must have been put away decades ago. The person I bought it from was the second owner. Didn't know much about it except that it did come from an estate, but I have restored it. These are a little bit tricky to work on, but first I'll turn it on and just give it a run. What's neat about these is they use the low voltage tubes, so it's basically instant on. This is just regular AM.
Yes, that I existed.
It has the really cool tone organ on the front to adjust the tone with the switches. These were very noisy and very stiff, a sign that it hadn't been used for a while. This one has the headphone jack. It has the dial-light switch. I don't have a battery. The dial-light does not work off of AC. It works off of a separate battery, a 3-volt battery. And of course, the selector. So we're on broadcast. I'm just going to pick the next shortwave band. See if there's anything there. Not much on shortwave these days. A little something there. Really smooth tuning. Everything's been lubed. Let's go back to broadcast for a second. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bands. It's linear. Some of the earlier ones had a round sweep dial, but similar bands. I'll tell you about what's been replaced in this one. First thing goes the selenium rectifier, and this one worked. The voltage was a bit low. That's what happens with these as they age. The output voltage goes low, and this one has 7 stacks. The capacitor can is still on the chassis for show. All of these bumblebee caps I've replaced, and usually what I find is many of them split and dry out. Like I say, the radio's working just not really well, so I replaced all the bumblebees. Some of the bumblebees, instead of the bumblebee being there, it had some of these later ceramic ones. I think these are original from the factory. This is substitution. One electrolytic. There are a couple resistors that were off tolerance. I changed those just to get the power supply voltages working right. This has a 50A1 ballast tube, which regulates the filament voltage. Let's turn the set off. We'll put the antenna down. The antenna is all straight on this one, except the very tip. But it works really well. It has the original guide in here for shortwave stations that are long gone, but the world guide for shortwave stations, little different versions. Some of them have, it's actually, the earliest ones are inside the front. Everything closes down. Now another problem with these, I'm just going to plug the cord. It has the roller cord caddy, and this one winds up really nicely. It didn't. The spring had actually come off one of the pegs that holds it down. But let's just turn it around so you can see what's inside. And it's heavy. That's the thing about these heavy. There's the chassis. This was how clean it was when I got it. Amazingly clean. This is what rolls the cord up. So I actually, I took about 2 inches off the spring, rewrapped it around the little post that's on the reel, and then tensioned it up again. Lubed the there's little bearings in here that allows you to transfer the AC voltage while moving the cord. Lube those up. It's not hard, very basic design. Interestingly enough, all the tubes except one are GE. I would have suspected originally had all Zenith tubes, but you never know what comes from the factory. The 1L6 converter is a Zenith. The others are all GEs. And they all test. They're like 90% and higher. So very low hours on them. Dial string was original. Chassis plating is really nice. Everything about this one shows very little wear. No cigarette smoke, no must, no corrosion, which is really nice. Anyway, and just gave it a little bit of an alignment. It was almost right on the mark. These are a cool radio, and there's fewer and fewer of these around, especially in this kind of condition. Thanks for watching and listening.